Hey guys, and welcome back to round 11 of the 1994 season as part of my CustomF1 series on F1 Challenge. I am driving, of course, as Nicola in the custom team, the made-up team, the one I created, Streamline Engineering. The first season in Formula 1, we are yet to score any points, we are yet to even get a top 10 finish. And hopefully by the end of the season we can get a top 10 finish. Maybe not points because it is top 6 for points, but top 10 finish is definitely the aim as we battle away for 13th place in the Constructors Championship with our big rivals Simtech. Today we have the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, the Autodromo de Monza or whatever it's called. It's the old layout for the first sector. The modern layout, the first chicane is a very tight right-left chicane. Heavy braking zone. This one is a left right. It's like a double chicane, and you take quite a bit of speed through it. As you can see in qualifying, this is my fastest lap. It was raining. Then went dry, and it started raining again. Some drivers actually set their fastest times on soft tyres in these conditions, but I had no confidence on putting the soft tyres on, so I went out on the intermediate tyres, and it was actually working pretty well for me. I did a couple laps already. As you can see, I'm on lap 6 out of 12. And I'm already 2/10 up through the first two sectors on my previous best, which at the time was good enough for 9th place, but I think only about 15 drivers have set a time at the moment. Through the Parabolica, the final corner on the track, we're going to go down towards the line. We're not going to challenge Damon Hill for pole position, of course we're not, but we are going to set a 1:32.9. It's 3.3 seconds off Damon Hill's time. It's 8th at the moment, but where are we on the starting grid? So here are the qualifying results for the Italian Grand Prix. Senna and Damon Hill make it a Williams 1-2 in the mixed conditions. Jos Verstappen starts in 3rd with Alesi and Larini, the two Ferraris at their home Grand Prix, only managing 4th and 5th position. The two McLarens 6th and 7th. Then we have the two Ligiers impressing in qualifying 8th and 9th. Panis ahead of Bernard. Katayama in the lead, Tyrrell is rounding out the top 10, followed by the two Saubers on the 6th row of the grid. The second Tyrrell of Mark Blundell starts from 13th, and Eddie Irvine sets off from 14th place. Onto the second half of the grid, Rubens Barrichello in the second Jordan starts from 15th, Fittipaldi and Morbidelli the two Footworks 16th and 17th, Mika Salo once again impressing in qualifying, up in 18th place for Streamline, Michele Alboreto 19th at their home Grand Prix with Eric Comas rounding out the top 20, Pierluigi Martini also at their home Grand Prix at Minardi's home Grand Prix 21st, Olivier Barreto in 22nd, Kai Mahendra not managing to get the maximum out of the Streamline machine, starts from 23rd yet again. Roland Ratzenberger in the lead, Simtech up in 24th place. Then the two Lotuses of Herbert and Zanardi. David Brabham sets off from 27th place. And the biggest shock is Michael Schumacher. I think he crashed on his first timed lap in qualifying and thus missed the remainder of the session. He starts from 28th and last place. And here is the pre-race information. Autodromo Nazionale de Monza. I know I butchered that pronunciation, but it is the Temple of Speed. 5.7 kilometers and only 14 corners. We have 53 laps ahead of us, and there is no rain like there was in qualifying. It's dry at the start, and the projector conditions are also dry. And both Salo and Mahendra, this is the first time we're doing this season. We're both going for a one-stop strategy. I thought if there's ever a circuit where you can kind of deal with worn tyres, it's probably Monza, because there's not many heavy traction zones where you're accelerating from low speeds. So I'm testing it out for this track, this Grand Prix, and hopefully it pays off. Well, there's only one more thing to do, and that's go racing. The 1994 Italian Grand Prix is next. And here we are on the grid, 4 lights and 5. The 1994 Italian Grand Prix is underway. And we get a solid start. There's a staller on the grid, and it's Mika Hakkinen in the McLaren. And I think somebody's ran straight into the back of him as well. So there's damage and carnage at the back of the grid. But meanwhile, we're moving our way up the field, past the footwork of Fittipaldi, looking up the inside of Irvine into this, like I said, the old layout through the first two chicanes. It's like a double chicane, left, right, and on the exits, we're already up to 14th place. So it's been a great start for Nicola, starting down in 18th, already up to 14th place, and with a heavier fuel load. Let's see where we kind of level out after the first few laps, where we can really see where our pace is. But right now, the first sector is looking good, and we're chasing down Eddie Irvine. We also have a very, let's say, a setup that's focused on straight line speed, which should help us down the long straights of the Temple of Speed that is Monza. But we do lose a bit of time through like the first and second Lesmo there. Through the chicanes, we're also losing a bit of time. I was checking at this point to make sure I can actually put some fuel in, because I accidentally did not set the fuel in the pre-race menu. But of course, we're only having one stop. We're going to pit on about lap 28 of this race, make it past half race distance before coming in for our first and only pit stop in the race. Hopefully it pays off, and hopefully we can have a great Grand Prix today. And here's the start from the leaders. Ayrton Senna off pole position loses the lead to Damon Hill as they head down towards the first chicane. And I think in third place there, that's Jos Verstappen looking interested. Jos Verstappen, rumours are circulating that his fuel load is less compared to the two Williams. So maybe Jos Verstappen on a 3-stop, the two Williams on a 2-stop strategy. But right now it's Hill taking the lead from Senna at the start of the Italian Grand Prix. As we saw, Hakkinen stalled on the grid, and then I think there was a bit of contact with somebody slowing down behind. I think it was Morbidelli who got ran into. Didn't run into the back of Hakkinen, but got run into, and will be out the race as well. And yes, Morbidelli is going around without a rear wing, holding up quite a few drivers. Michael Schumacher has already jumped ahead of this group of cars. So from the back of the grid, I think Michael Schumacher is already into the top 20 through the first sector of the opening lap. And this is a great example of how fast we are down the straight. In the slipstream of Eddie Irvine as we start lap 2, we move beside the Jordan car and under braking into the first corner. We take 13th place. And right now, even with the fuel load we've got, we seem very, very quick. I am on the hard tyres as well, and that's why we're going all the way to lap 28 for this first stint, slightly longer, which means we should have less wear on our soft tyres that I'll have to put on for the second stint. Moving on to lap 4, or towards the end of lap 4, we're about 2.5 seconds behind Blundell. We've basically had the same gap for the past couple of laps, so it seems like I've already found my place in this race, which is still very, very good. We're used to being down at the back, so it's very nice to see that we're in the midfield right now. I don't know if this is because of the strategy or the setup or the circuit fitting the car's characteristics, but it's working out very well so far. And the biggest shock was to see Michael Schumacher. He must have made a mistake in qualifying, or an engine issue or something, which meant he could not set a lap in qualifying. Starting from the back, it'll be very, very interesting to see how far he can climb up the order. Ayrton Senna, if he wins this race and Schumacher fails to score or does not score many points, the championship is pretty much over. So we are far and away probably the fastest driver in a straight line, but through the corners, as I demonstrate here, I'm just not that quick. And on the exit there of Parabolica, I actually run wide, not really concentrating. I go onto the gravel and lose the position to Barrichello, who managed to get past his teammate Irvine. But down the main straight, there's no issue in me retaking that 13th place. We're only 37 seconds off the lead after 7 laps, which isn't too bad based on what we usually are at this stage in the race. Verstappen has got past Senna, is now on the back of race leader Damon Hill as we go into the first Lesmo. Could he make a move? No! It's brake failure. Verstappen's off into the gravel. The Benetton retires on lap 11 of the Italian Grand Prix. So we're at about a quarter race distance. Damon Hill leads, Senna in second and Larini in third. Larini doing a really good job right now. We're currently looking at Martin Brundle, who's down in 6th place. Of course, his teammate Mika Hakkinen retiring on the start line. He stalled on the start. It was the first retirement of this race. He's looking very good for Mika Salo in 12th place right now on pure pace. A great run there from the streamlined driver. Race leader Damon Hill has controlled the race from the front. For his first stint, he goes into the pits, Senna stays out and therefore retakes the lead that he lost on the start. Senna obviously going slightly further in this first stint. Lap 18, I'm 12th, but Schumacher is all over the back of me. And he probably heard over the radio his teammate Verstappen already retired, so all of Benetton's hopes lie on Schumacher. And into the first Lesmo, he dives up the inside. I didn't even know he was going for the move, but he's gone straight past me already, pulling away, going into the distance. But I'm going to really catch up to the back of him down this straight. I know I am. I know he's really quick through the corners, and over a whole lap he would eventually pull away from me. But for right now, we're going to, as you can see, we're actually gaining on Schumacher down the straight. Not by much, not by as much as we were compared to the Jordans, who are still behind me. But Schumacher right now, good progress, up to 12th from 28th, and it's only lap 18. And now Schumacher lining up a move on Andrea de Cesaris in the Sauber into the second chicane. He's ran into the back of him. Oh, it's brake failure for the second Benetton now. Schumacher retires from the race, just like his teammate Verstappen did about 8 laps prior. Schumacher is out of the race. Well, de Cesaris surely nursing some damage now, after Schumacher running into the back of him as he lost his brakes on the previous lap, and because of people going into the pits as well. It's lap 20. I am up to 9th place. I don't think we've ever been this high this season, but this is turning out to be our best race of the year so far. So Senna into the pits on about lap 20. He's rejoining the track, and Damon Hill just manages to keep the lead by a few seconds, but it's going to be a race between the two Williams drivers to see who wins this Grand Prix. Whilst Streamline are having arguably their best weekend of the season so far, it's the complete opposite for Simtek, and it's going to get much worse here, as Ratzenberger almost running into the back of Brabham. He retires due to brake failure. Just like so many other drivers in this race, Ratzenberger is out. We're at half race distance. You will see this clip once again in a second from my onboard, as this is Mika Salo against Eric Bernard for another position in the race. But it's looking really good for Sala right now. Look at that, up in 8th place. Damon Hill leads the way though, still ahead of Ayrton Senna. John Alesi is now ahead of Larini in the battle for 3rd place, which is really good for Alesi in his kind of championship battle. Up to 8th now, as it's lap 27. And we've got Eric Bernard, who's already been into the pits. He's clearly on a 2-stop strategy. And I'm about to move past him and into 7th place. We're almost into a points position. His teammate Olivier Panis is further up the road. I think Bernard actually ran into the back of me there, under braking into the first corner, but no damage done. We're pitting on the following lap. We could actually do a few more laps. We've got enough fuel to do a few more laps. It seems the fuel calculation was a bit off, so we could even extend this stint if I want to, and that would mean my final stint on the soft tyres will be less hard on the tyres. On the soft tyres, if that makes sense. We won't be running them for as many laps, which means the tyre wear won't be as high, and it would be a more comfortable ride to the end of the race. A short second stint for race leader Hill. That was about 13 or 14 laps. He's into the pits. Senna was closing the gap on him rapidly as well. I think it was only about 2 seconds behind. So Senna retakes the race lead, and with a few good laps here before his second stop, could rejoin in front of his teammate. And 1 lap later, Senna is in and he's rejoining. And where is Damon Hill? Damon Hill's been held up by traffic. He's right behind. You can just about see him in the background. There's Hill, and I think there's a Sauber between them. So Senna has taken the lead of the race, and surely he's not going to lose the lead from this point onwards. Well, I didn't think I'd be saying this season, but we are running in the points. We're in 6th place right now. We are going into the pits this lap. Panis pit a few laps earlier, and so did his teammate Bernard, which I was a bit confused by. I thought Bernard had already been into the pits, and that's why I had caught and overtook him. But I think he's on the same strategy as me, just pitting a few laps earlier. But here we are, the Streamline boys ready to serve me in the pit lane, and we're going to put a set of soft tyres on, pitting on the end of lap 32, beginning of lap 33. So we're going to have a good 20 or so laps to go in this race, and we're only going to reach it. We might actually still be in the top 10. I don't know how we've done this, guys. But yeah, we're going to rejoin in 8th place. Could points be a possibility? Surely not. We've got one of the slowest cars on the grid. Surely points could not be a possibility, but it seems so close. We're 8th place, and we do not need to pit again. So, we're up to 7th. I think Katayama has been into the pits for the 2nd time. So we're between the two Ligiers, Panis 5 seconds ahead, Bernard about 12 seconds behind. We've got maybe 15 laps left, and we are actually faster than the Ligier ahead. I don't want to jinx anything, but it's looking very, very good for possibly our first ever points. Here we are at 3/4 race distance, and Senna, as you can see, has the lead. Larini's back up into 3rd place. Could Larini score a podium for Ferrari at the home Grand Prix? That'd be very nice to see for Larini's sake. Currently we're looking at, as one of the Saubers, I think yeah, it'll be Cesaris down in 15th place. Not too special today, but a solid race for the Sauber driver. Martini is about to retire from this race. So not only is it an Italian manufacturer, it's an Italian driver retiring from the Italian Grand Prix, and yes, you guessed it, it's brake failure. Lap 43, Panis is 1 second ahead and he's struggling to lap one of the LaRouche drivers as we go through the Curva Grande. They're slowing up massively. Is this my chance? Is this my chance? Salo looks to the inside, under braking into the left-right chicane. We're up the inside of both of them, and they both cut across the chicane. Well, the LaRouche does. There is a lapped car. We need to try and get past him, but Panis is on the inside, so I can't go to the inside of the first Lesmo. And Panis, for now at least, holds on to that 7th place. I finally get past the LaRouche. No, I don't. He's still, well, fighting me, essentially. There is blue flags out, and eventually I do get past the LaRouche. And now it's a straight fight between me, Mika Salo, in the Streamline Engineering machine against the Ligier of Olivier Panis. And with about 10 laps to go, this is for the final points position. And this is my first real overtaking opportunity on the Ligier down the main straight. Look how we're gaining. With the extra top speed I have, I go to the outside. There's not much space there. I try and make sure he can see me. And under braking into the first chicane, I run across the curb on the inside of the right-hander. And Panis successfully defends for now. And another thing to point out is these soft tyres are not lasting as long as I thought they would. I'm already losing grip, surprisingly, out of the Parabolica. When I'm accelerating through 3rd and 4th gear, I seem to actually be losing grip, and I almost run into the back of Panis there, out-braking myself. That could have been the end of the race for me. Luckily, I avoid the Ligier, and no contact is made, and we can just calm down, calm everything down. We've got quite a few laps to make this move, and as you can see, I'm losing grip around the corners. The soft tyres are not really holding up. The following lap begins, and we have another run on Panis. This time we go to the inside for the first corner, under braking. We give him space, and we're still side by side. We eventually get the move, but I lose a bit of grip on the exit, and Panis just about holds onto that position. But surely now, through the Curva Grande, the flat right-hander, we're going to make the move stick. We move ahead of the Ligier. We're clear. We're 2 car lengths clear as we brake into the next chicane, and we move up into 6th place. Now we have a back marker as we start lap 47. It's a Lotus who's getting in my way. That was a Minardi, sorry. I almost lose grip under braking there because he slowed up so much trying to let me through, and I lose grip on the exit of the second chicane there. I go onto the grass, try and get back onto the track, and we lose the position to Panis. We're back behind Panis, so back down to 7th place, but we've still got a few laps to make the move, so we just need to keep it calm and consistent. 1 lap later, it's time to lap this Minardi for the second time of asking. This time up the inside into the Ascari chicane. We're clear, under braking. And that's a move made. But the Minardi just comes straight back in front of me. Distracts me. I spin round exactly like Sebastian Vettel did a couple seasons ago at the Italian Grand Prix. And I'm going to lose 6-7 seconds to Panis ahead. Luckily we're still well clear of Bernard, but that's a disaster. We're now 7 seconds behind the Ligier of Olivier Panis. And as we are already 1 lap down, we maybe have 4 laps to make that time up. So lap 49, so we've got 4 laps to catch up to Olivier Panis and overtake the Ligier to get our first ever points for Streamline Engineering. It's all falling apart now with the worn tyres. We've spun again, this time at the first chicane. We managed to get it facing the right way again, but I think we might just lose a position to Bernard, and there he goes. The Ligier of Bernard moves past, and Katayama in the Tyrrell moves past as well. I managed to overtake Katayama. Now I need to re-overtake one of the Ligiers before overtaking the other Ligier. We're down to 8th place. Points are just escaping our grasp. It was only a matter of time before something happened to De Cesaris after the incident with Michael Schumacher earlier on in the race. And at the same place where the incident happened, De Cesaris brake failure. The Sauber driver is out of the Italian Grand Prix with only 2 laps to go. Larini only has 2 laps to go to secure a podium for Ferrari at the Italian Grand Prix, just ahead of his teammate Alesi. And round the Parabolica, it's all gone wrong. It's brake failure, just like so many other drivers in this race. And Larini, oh, it's disaster for Larini. He's out of the race. And Ayrton Senna rounding the Parabolica for the final time, for the 53rd time in this race. He's going to come down towards the line and win his 3rd race in a row. The first time anybody's done that this season. Last race was the first time anybody had won a back-to-back, and now he's won 3 in a row, and surely is almost wrapping up the championship. And with that late retirement, it's come down to the last lap of the race. We're in 7th. Bernard 0.2 of a second ahead. as we go through the Ascari chicane. There's one more corner to go, that's Parabolica. If we want to get points, we need to overtake Bernard here, and I just don't get the correct exit out of that corner. I think points are just slipping away. We need to clear this LaRouche driver as well into the Parabolica. Can I outbrake Bernard? It's not going to happen, and Bernard is going to hold on to score the 6th place finish. His teammate Panis is going to finish in 5th. That's his first points of the season, and we are just missing out on points. Our first ever top 10 result though is 7th place. We'll have to be happy with that. And there we have it, the results to a crazy race for Streamline Engineering, at least. The Italian Grand Prix delivered on all aspects for me personally. Ayrton Senna wins, and Damon Hill second, with Michael Schumacher and Jos Verstappen retiring. That pretty much, well, Ayrton Senna, he's not going to lose the championship from now, is he? Surely not. There's 5 races to go. I think the gap's about 36, 37 points, something like that. Alesi finishes 3rd, which will at least excite the Tifosi a bit for Ferrari's home Grand Prix. Martin Brundle in 4th, and both Ligiers picking up points. Mika Salo just missing out, and Katayama, the final driver, on, well, 1 lap down. A load of drivers 2 laps down. 20 drivers actually finishing the race, so surprisingly, Spa and Monza have been the highest finishing rate of the season. Lots of drivers suffering brake failures, Morbidelli crashing on the opening lap while losing his rear wing, at least, and Mika Häkkinen stalling on the grid. Here are the drivers' standings, and as I said, I thought it was like 37, 38 point gap at the top. I was wrong, it's a 35 point gap at the top with 5 races to go. If Senna outscores Schumacher by just 5 points next time, Senna will be champion for 1994, and mathematically only Schumacher, Alesi and Senna have a chance at the title now. Jos Verstappen can no longer win the World Championship, and of course Damon Hill can't either. This result also shook up the order in the midfield. Olivier Panis, first points of the season, puts him up into 16th place. I'm disappointed by the amount of drivers who have scored points and those who have scored podiums as well. Only 17 so far, but like I said, we've still got 5 races to go, and hopefully a few more drivers can score their first points of the season. Mika Salo, with his 7th place today, moves up into 19th in the championship. Now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. I'd say it's still all to play for, but Williams have extended their gap by a maximum of 16 points today, which has really changed the look of the standings in terms of the gap at the top. The gap is now, what's that, 28 points? 28 points with 5 races to go. That can still change. And Ferrari's still holding on to Benetton. Ferrari's still up there in 3rd place, McLaren in 4th, Ligier scoring a few points today and move ahead of Jordan, and Streamline jump from 13th all the way up into 10th place. 10th place for Streamline Engineering. And time for the feeder series results. No race in Formula 3000. You can have a look at it yourself, guys. Pause if you need to. But I don't think all the drivers who have applied will be able to be on the grid next year, because we'll only have like Formula 2, Formula 3, regional Formula 3s and Formula 4s maybe, as it's restructured, and I can't obviously make my workload too large, so I might not be able to include everybody who has submitted an application, but I will try my best to include as many as possible. I completely forgot the team update last week, but here it is. This is this week's. Morale is not looking good for Mahendra. It's looking great for Salo though, and team finances aren't looking too great, but if Streamline can hold on to that 10th place in the Constructors, the prize money will do them wonders. That'll keep them afloat at least for a next season or so. The next race is the Portuguese Grand Prix at Estoril. Hopefully that'll be quite an exciting race. If it's anything like today's race, it's going to look very good for Streamline Engineering. And there we have it, guys. That's the end of the video. If you're not on my Discord, I basically updated everybody to let them know that all the car updates for both Streamline and all the other cars, and all the driver transfers and everything that's dynamically changing in the world of Formula 1 and CustomF1 will be delayed till the off season between 1994 and 1995, so I have ample time to prepare everything for 1995 and seasons there onwards, to make it at least a lot more accessible for people to get involved and easier to follow. So this season is basically everything's frozen now. The car performance is frozen. There's no more driver transfers or news for the rest of the season. There might still be driver injuries from crashes and whatnot, but there won't be any dynamic changes. well, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed, make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, check out all the social media links down in the description, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch. I've been streaming there loads lately, lots of Formula 1 content on there, on the newer Formula 1 games, as well as other racing games as well. Make sure to check that out, and that's it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.